Welcome to another podcast of Rosefellow. My name is Sam Tsoumas. I'm a co-CEO, co-founder of Rosefellow. I'm here with my co-host, Brian Banks. Say hi, Brian.
Thank you, Sam. I'm Director of Construction here at Rosefellow.
On today's podcast, we'll be speaking with Raman, Mangat, and Benoit Thibault of MSI International.
Thank you.
All right. Well, again, thank you for joining us, Team MSI. I'd love for you guys to introduce yourselves. So, Raman, please take the lead on this one.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Rosefellow. I'm Raman Mangat, and I'm the Senior Branch Leader for MSI. Basically handles all the East Coast operations for MSI Canada. And I'm joined by Benoit.
Moi, Benoit Thibault, directeur de succursale à Montréal. La première succursale francophone au Canada et chez MSI.
Merci, Benoit. Tu parlais première succursale francophone et à Montréal. Dis-nous en français, s'il te plaît, qu'est-ce que MSI fait exactement?
MSI, c'est le plus gros importateur au niveau des tout ce qui est comptoir, countertop. Je le dis en anglais, mais c'est ça pareil. Ouais. Countertop, pierre naturelle. Et ils ont intégré après ça tout ce qui est flooring, couvre-sol. Ça n'arrête pas de grossir. On a, je ne sais plus combien de produits, tellement on en a, tellement on a de l'offre. On a des lavabos, on vend des pebbles, on vend... Tu vois-tu, je passe du français à l'anglais continuellement parce que c'est notre marché. Mais MSI a commencé plusieurs années, puis c'est une compagnie qui grossit à vitesse grand V. C'est assez impressionnant. Puis ce qui est impressionnant surtout, parce qu'on s'en vient au Québec, c'est qu'ils respectent beaucoup le fait français. Chaque communication interne, tout a été traduit. Je reçois des courriels, c'est anglais-français, une immense marque de respect. Souvent, je trouve ça drôle, mais ça fait partie de la business. Fait que c'est bien intéressant.
Et tu étais avec eux dès le début, quand ils voulaient rentrer à Québec? Ou
j'ai un chasseur de tête qui m'a approché, qui est venu me chercher, puis qui m'a fait rencontrer mon ami Raman. Et puis, ça a débloqué par la suite. J'ai commencé avril 2023 avec MSI. Précédemment, j'étais dans d'autres compagnies de couvre-sol. J'étais un peu un plug and play qu'on appelle.
Okay. Ouais. Raman, so Benoit just mentioned the Quebec. Basically, MSI entered Quebec and was very welcoming to the French language. Highly respectful, highly impressive. Most companies do not do that. I mean, I've been privy to many who've come into Quebec and have said, you know what, the language is just too much. Let's pack it up and leave. I'll actually even say a story, just quickly, an anecdote. There was a company here in Quebec, very well known, that even opened up a retail location, who was forced to change their website by the Quebec government. And they said, no, they closed their facility, they closed their retail operation, and basically continued their online orders, but still have a distribution center in the South Shore of Montreal that they distribute. So it's a testament to your group. Raman, you and I go pretty way back. I mean, I think we started this process. I actually remember being in Italy, and we were negotiating the LOI. Just going a little bit off script here. Why Quebec? What was it about Quebec that interested you guys?
So first thing foremost, obviously it's a beautiful province, and it's a second biggest metropolitan city in Canada. So Montreal, definitely everybody should be here. And for us, our CEO, founder, he actually started from bringing blocks of granite from India or other countries and selling into US and Canada. So he was actually he started from Quebec to sell within Canada. And then we went to Toronto. Again, I used to sell from New York and Toronto, but Quebec was on our radar from last 7 years. As you said, on the French language, we could not have opened if we didn't had first all these barriers covered. So we went other way around first. We first covered the language barriers. We had the team leaders from Quebec, our whole team is bilingual. So first we covered that, then we started okay, now we need to find a facility to open here. So.
Beautiful. I actually have another question, because this is what always makes me curious. Evidently, Rosefellow, we're industrial developers. We build industrial buildings across the province, across the GMA. We've also branched out into Ontario, as well as now looking into the United States. But when we talk about Montreal, Montreal is primarily, there's the major markets, which we'll call Laval, Ville Saint-Laurent, the South Shore, but we also looking at the secondary markets. That's why we built in Mascouche. Benoit, dans ton opinion, pourquoi Mascouche était un site idéal pour MSI?
Première des choses, on importe beaucoup. L'année passée, on a importé au-dessus de 80 000 conteneurs à travers l'Amérique, d'un peu partout dans le monde. Fait que la priorité numéro 1, c'est d'être proche du port de Montréal. Fait que c'est une des raisons pourquoi on a choisi Mascouche. La qualité du building, bien sûr, mais l'accessibilité aux autoroutes, c'est tout on reçoit par van, donc il faut que le gars de van puisse arriver. Fait que c'est une des premières raisons qui a fait qu'on est allé à Mascouche avec vous autres, Rosefellow.
Parfait. Donc, ça veut dire qu'on n'a pas chargé assez de loyer. OK, parfait.
Non, c'est bon. C'est bon.
I said, Raman, we didn't charge enough rent since you gave me all the reasons why you should go to Mascouche. OK, no, thank you for that. Merci.
Juste pour ajouter un point, en termes d'employés, est-ce que c'était important aussi d'être à Mascouche?
Oui, parce que, bon, avec ce qu'on sait pour le tunnel à Montréal, on voulait pas aller sur la Rive-Sud, c'est sûr. Moi, je demeure sur la Rive-Nord, fait que c'est sûr et certain qu'on restait Rive-Nord et l'ouest de Montréal aussi, qu'on a visité plusieurs buildings, puis je me souviens, même Brian nous avait dit qu'il y avait des constructions qui s'en venaient, puis on est allé voir où c'était. Mais je te dirais, l'accessibilité, nos clients, quand ils viennent à Mascouche, ils n'ont pas le trafic de Ville-Saint-Laurent, ils n'ont pas le trafic de Montréal, ils n'ont pas... C'est plus facile. Puis, au niveau d'accessibilité, tu es proche des autoroutes, 1640, 440, 15, 25, on peut toutes les nommer. Fait que c'est un spot presque idéal.
Raman, tell me a little bit about MSI. You mentioned a little bit how it started, but tell me, in a minute or less, tell me about it. Where are you guys located? I did some pre-investigative journalism, we'll call it. Notice you're pretty much all over the world, but give for our viewers here who don't know MSI exactly what it is you do.
The MSI was founded in 1975 by Manu Shah and Rika Shah. They came from India in 1970 to do higher education and with the American dream. So 1975, they opened up MSI in the basement of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Just because Rika wanted to do a job from home as she was pregnant and bring some money for the family. And then from there, now we are into almost $2.8 billion company because we kept investing back into the industry. Like Manu Shah as a founder, and his vision was that we have to make stone affordable and accessible for everybody. Like it used to be earlier that countertop granite is for riches. Like we wanted to make sure it's accessible and affordable for every single person in the world. Right now, we are supporting over 400,000 jobs all across the world. In the US, we have 4,000 employees right now, and in Canada, we are about to cross 100 employees and $2.8 billion in revenues. We give back to the community all the time. We have our own, charitable trusts and stuff. So we want to do like a good for the industry, for the people of where we are. So, and for technology-wise, MSI spends a lot of money and stuff in technology for surface industry. This used to be earlier surfaces is something which is just on the floor or counter. Now we are bringing technology in there, new stuff. We are innovative, so we are just growing this industry to next level.
What's your favorite product that you guys have? Favorite? Could be a color, could be a type of product. What's your favorite?
Natural stone. I love it. You might see my pictures of hugging my natural stone slabs. It's just, there's so much history behind it. Like millions of years ago, the mountains are there, and then we are cutting the piece of earth and bringing it to your doorstep and on your countertop. That's why I love it. Yeah.
I love, when I visit the warehouse now, I love seeing the slabs in the warehouse, these huge slabs. I can't wait for on Thursday when you get to go to the ribbon cutting just to check it out. It's really impressive, your setup there.
Yep, thanks.
So Raman, you just mentioned that MSI is really into research development. What's the next big trend in the flooring or slab industry?
So we are now trend forward company. We make sure we bring colors or product which is 2 or 3 years from today's, because that's where we want our customers to be. We look into the market requirements. We do a lot of research these days. Even you saw there was so much of flooding and stuff. People search waterproof. People search scratch resistant, pet proof, child proof. So we are bringing that kind of flooring, which actually is waterproof, and it's actually good for environment also. Not just putting something plastic in somebody's house to make it waterproof, but we are bringing new technology to that. Second one is the natural stone. Like it's coming back long time. Like the man-made stone got popular in last 5 years, but natural stone is coming back really high in next 2-3 years.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. So what are the colors that you view, the trends that you see coming up in the next 2 years? So I'll give you an example. When I was newly married, it seemed like the browns, the earth tones, the golds were in style. The last few years, it's been more of the black and white, the white stone with the white granite. What do you see coming up for all of our viewers?
So right now is more, it's going back actually when you said you got married. So yeah, so you can tell that to your wife.
No renovations.
No renovations. The blondes and then the browns are actually coming back. Gold is really in trend right now. Seamless sanctuaries, like, where you have like same color flowing through your kitchen to the outdoors, like, that is coming big. People are spending a lot of money in the outdoors, so in your backyard, like, the stones for there, but a lot of earthy colors. Then blues and greens, they're coming back. Yeah, and we are innovating a lot into the stone which covers those cabinets. Like, we have our own factory in South Carolina, so we do a lot of research over there, make our own colors.
Were you hoping to hear pink?
No, well, not in my house, no, but thank you.
Si je peux ajouter, excuse-moi, si je peux ajouter les grands formats. Il y a plusieurs années, c'était du 12-12 en céramique, je donne un exemple. Oui. Maintenant, on est rendu au 24-48 et plus grand encore. Puis ça, MSI a cette capacité-là à s'adapter. L'an passé, quand on a commencé avec MSI, sont très, très au courant de ce qui se passe dans l'Amérique du Nord, mais le Québec est différent complètement. Les choix de couleurs, c'est pas juste la langue, là, les choix de couleurs aussi, c'est différent. Puis ils n'ont pas hésité à venir nous rencontrer à Montréal, faire la tournée de nos magasins, nos compétiteurs, pour voir c'était quoi le trend. Puis en l'espace de 6 mois, comme il dit Raman, mettons dans le vinyle, on avait beaucoup de couleurs chaudes, des bruns, des gris, très, très américains, mais ils sont virés de bord. Puis maintenant, on a, je ne sais plus combien de couleurs en blond, différents blonds dans le vinyle.
Tu dis qu'au Québec, on est plus différent. Est-ce qu'on est plus en avance ou plus en retard par rapport au reste du monde?
Il ne comprend pas l'anglais, mais je vais vous dire, on est en avance.
En avance. Thank you, Raman. No, all we said was, what Benoit mentioned is that in Quebec, we are our own sub-market. We actually are very different stylistically than the rest of Canada, maybe North America. So what I asked, are we more advanced or are we more behind? And Benoit seemed to indicate that we're actually more advanced stylistically than the rest of North America. You also mentioned that slab sizes, I'm assuming for tiles, are getting larger, 24 by 24. Is that proving to be more difficult to install or more expensive, or does it fit in most houses? What are you guys seeing with regards to that?
So big sizes are like the new thing. People want, like, it looks grand. Even in like a small powder room, people are putting like 2 tiles of 24-48. It just looks bigger. Like, with the smaller tile, it looks smaller. It's a new trend. We have tile as big as 48 by 48. Even we have like 126 by 63 for floor tiles. So it all depends. But yes, the installation is definitely a little expensive because you need more labor, you need more expertise in that. Like, just a bricklayer cannot do a tile installation for that.
Okay, if I may get back to a little bit about our mutual relationship. Evidently, I think I mentioned earlier on in the podcast where we started negotiating this letter of intent, seems like two summers ago. I was in Italy. I remember I was on the Amalfi Coast and you and I were talking. Connection was horrible, but we got it through, so thank you for that. Where do you see your path in Quebec? Do you see more locations? Do you see multiple warehouses, singular distribution center? How do you see this? Et pour toi, Benoit, je demande la même question. Vous pouvez prendre chacun votre tour. Comment vous voyez ici au Québec? Est-ce que vous prévoyez grandir une succursale, beaucoup de succursales, une grosse succursale?
So so Quebec and especially Montreal being a port, we know that this can be a very big hub location for us. We are investing money all around North America near the ports. Like we have facility in Savannah, Georgia, 750,000 square feet facility. So where we're going to make it as a hub, bring product here. And then Montreal being a port, we expect this area we will have multiple warehouses or maybe one big grand warehouse. In fact, I was talking to Brian last week. I met him. I was like, we might be looking for another 50,000 square feet very soon because the reception which we got from our clients is amazing. Like they love it. They're seeing that, okay, we are finally here, and then we can expect that we will grow definitely 3 or 4 folds by next year.
That's great. Hopefully none of our competitors hear that and start calling you. Et toi, Benoit, comment tu vois ça?
Ben, je vois la même chose. On développe de plus en plus. Les clients viennent voir le showroom, ils viennent nous visiter, puis ils voient le sérieux d'MSI de s'implanter au Québec. Ils voient tout ce qu'on a fait au niveau du langage pour promettre des choses. Ça, c'est primordial pour les Québécois. On est sensible à ces points-là. Et puis, quand ils viennent au showroom, là, ils voient toute la quantité de produits qu'on offre. Ça aide à augmenter la visibilité d'MSI au Québec. Puis on commence à s'étendre. La première année il fallait présenter MSI. Les gens ne connaissaient pas MSI. Mais après un an, là, c'est comme le talk of the town. Là, on est là. Il faut faire affaire avec MSI. Il faut leur parler. Il faut les voir. On a une belle réponse des clients. Puis, comme il dit Raman, lui, il dit 1 an, mais 1 an et demi, 2 ans. Mais on va aller vers là.
Je dois dire, moi, je suis ici comme presque tout le monde, sauf Raman. Puis pour moi, l'anglais, le français, c'est quelque chose de naturel. C'est compris. On parle anglais, on parle français. Moi, je parle grec aussi. Beaucoup de Québécois parlent 2-3 langues. Mais voir comment la réception a été prise de MSI, de ajouter la langue française dans tout le savoir-faire. Like, I take this more proudly as actually you, Benoit. Comment toi, you're proud of how francophone MSI has become. And it's almost heartwarming to see. I wish other companies took that approach where the sense I get is, first of all, Quebecers and Quebec employees are proud of this, are proud that a company coming in was willing to do this. It doesn't seem that challenging, honestly. I mean, I've seen your growth here in the province through us. Hats off to you guys. It's nice to see your employees are very proud of this, and that's a testament.
No, I'll just add to that. Like, we made sure, as I said, like, when we open in Quebec, we have to respect the local needs and then what the province requires. And we, like, even sometimes Benoit says, okay, we have employee, like, there's a resume which is only French speaking. We're like, okay, so, like, yeah, we are in Quebec. So that was one major thing which we decided within the company, that we will welcome every single requirement. That's why it took us like almost 6 to 7 years to come here. And when we were like even talking with you guys, like, we started talking, I think like Brian, Nathaniel, like they all actually helped me with the resources. They're like, okay, use this company, use that company for translation and all. And then Ben coming on board, like it helped completely, like to just find resources to change. We made our website now. It actually launched last week only into 3 languages: French, Portuguese, and English.
Oh wow, amazing! Yeah. No Greek.
Next one.
Just speaking a little bit about Rosefellow. I think you guys have now started to understand a little bit. We're a bit different than general contractors / developers. We build our buildings, we rent our buildings, but as you can see, we're a small team and everybody in the team is involved. So you were talking about Brian. You were telling me just before that you were reaching out to Brian about additional square footage. That is not a normal process that's done. And we're very proud that you could pick up the phone, Raman or Benoit, and call Brian, and Brian could actually talk to you guys about other things that we're looking at, or listen to you where you want to be. So, is there any advice that you'd give us, maybe, that things that we could change, add, adapt, different locations?
Like, first thing foremost, like I'll thank you for the whole process. Like, it was amazing. I know, like, okay, negotiations are never easy. That's a different story. But overall, the time to get a response, like, that was amazing. Like, even I was telling Brian earlier before coming here that normally, like, the developers, they done with the building, give it to the landlord, and then they're out. You never know where they are. So, but with Brian and Nathaniel, they were like, okay, guys, you can contact us anytime. Literally, we had a very small issue. When I was like, hey, can you just tell me how to do this? He's like, okay, I'll show up there. He didn't need to, because we don't pay rent to you guys, but you guys came over. So that is amazing. Like, as a Rosefellow team, I think you guys are doing amazing work in there. As an advice, I will just say invest more and more.
So just to give everybody a little bit of context, where Raman just meant he doesn't pay rent to us. So I'll explain a little bit the history of the Mascouche file. So we developed this jointly with one of our partners called Skyline REIT. The moment the building had reached effective stabilization, which was Congebec came in and actually leased the vast majority of the building, we actually sold them our shares. So while we acted still as the leasing group and the developers of the file, for us it's still our baby. So you mentioned, you called us. You're 100% right. Actually, we are no longer the property managers. We're no longer the owners, but it is still our baby. So when you have a problem, always feel free to call Brian, myself, or anything. No matter what, we take pride in what we do. So if it's a small issue, a big issue, if we can help, we will. That's what we do across the board.
And then also, like, when we were negotiating, I think you had good research done on MSI. I would say that. Like, and it was me and Sam, we had a couple of discussions. It was like, hey, but you guys going to grow eventually. Take this, take that. I'm like, okay, so at least like, we have a couple of, like, obviously we have like 53 locations and warehouses. So where we deal with a lot of different landlords. We develop our own also. So maybe next one we might develop something together. Yeah.
Love to.
Yeah. Maybe we should discuss the tenant improvements. I mean, that was a big part of the project. We did a lot of modifications to the base building to accommodate you guys. Maybe Benoit, tu peux parler un peu de la processus, les modifications qu'on a fait.
C'était un processus qui m'a paru long, mais qui n'a pas été long, dans le sens qu'on demandait quelque chose, puis il y avait une réponse tout le temps. Ça, c'est bien apprécié. On a été jusqu'à changer des murs extérieurs. On a été jusqu'à changer, je ne connais pas les principes de construction, mais on sait qu'est-ce que ça implique de créer des drive-thru pour nous autres, parce que c'est bien important pour les slabs. Ça a été un super processus, honnêtement, vraiment le fun. Puis oui, effectivement, qui fait une bonne job.
I just want to share one experience with my crane company. And so they were here, like, looking at the building, and I'm like, you know what, guys, the building is done very nicely, and then the structure they have done is like, it can hold almost like 20-ton cranes. I was like, how do you say? Is it like, we haven't seen this quality of building built. So that was one thing which, when you take a building, when another vendors come in and they actually praise it, they don't need to, but they just write with it like, oh, this is very high end, so it's good. On the tenant improvement, when I saw the offices built, the quality of build is really good. So thanks a lot for that. And then the timing, like, I think we were told that, okay, we're gonna have by this time. Yes, okay, we had a lot of changes in between coming in, which we thought, okay, it will help us, and the timing was amazing. Like, whatever time you guys told us, we got the building at that date. Normally, like, we have seen delays of 6 months. So
It was a challenge too because of the lease negotiations.
Yes.
As long as
so
that
it's
took,
our fault. So it's my fault.
well, we never changed the delivery date.
No.
So it took 2 months longer to finalize the lease, and we kept the same delivery date. So
Brian, I'll teach you something on that side. The delivery date never changes.
I know.
Ever. It's
I
always
learned
our
that,
side.
so now I add a contingency.
Exactly. I also have to say, where we're talking about how we were able to respect delays and do changes to the building. One thing that we actually miss here, and maybe we could jump into it a little bit on your side since you have 53 locations, is actually the city of Mascouche. Like a lot of cities actually in the GMA, Greater Montreal area, are very welcoming and they're easy to actually talk to. Without Mascouche here, we would not have been able to achieve these dates. I mean, with all due respect to Brian, myself, we respect our dates. We're good. We're very close with our trades. But the city of Mascouche, merci la ville de Mascouche pour toute votre aide. We're able to really come in and ensure that MSI was able to get in there with all the, the legal jargons that needed to be worked out. So do you see any difference in how we handle things here in Quebec versus other provinces or states?
Yeah, so coming from Ontario, I will say it was a very easy transition, or even the permit basis. We actually were talking directly with the city officials, for our occupancy permit, and it was easy. We were given certain date that this is what we will do, and then we got it around that date. You always have few hiccups here and there. They gave us requirements, and we made sure we meet them, and then we have the permit. So, but I haven't seen that easily happening in some other cities, Ontario, or even in other parts. But I think Quebec was very welcoming, and Mascouche City, we respect that. They made our transition really easy. So if we have another development and we need some space, then it definitely might be the same city.
Yeah. That also, from what we've noticed, and we're starting to see it, it's something that's unique in Quebec. But simply because a lot of other developers, a lot of other landlords don't actually take this approach to other cities, which is, funny enough, just talk to your public officials, pick up the phone, go see them, talk to the problem, sit down with them. A lot of people are either, demanding, picking up the phone, saying, we need this done, this date, here are the plans, without actually sitting down and explaining the file, explaining the issues, explaining the timing, explaining our clients, your issues. And what we've noticed that if you could, you sit down with people, it almost eliminates almost every problem. And it seems to be something you could copy paste across the board. So for us, that's our approach, how we handled everything going in Ontario, and how we believe going into the United States will actually work for us.
Well, thank you guys very much for joining us today. It was a lot of fun discussing the files and how you felt through the process with Rosefellow, and hopefully we can continue to work together.
All right. No, thanks a lot. Thanks for hosting us today, and we'll grow our business together.
I hope so.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Thank you.
Thank you.